Today at Customized Creations, we're going to be doing a review on a Sig P226. This is a West German model. This model is one of the desirable stamped models. It's a triple serial number. Basically functions the same way as all the rest of the Sigs do. We have slide release, decock, magazine release, we have double action, single action, and the triggers on these things function very, very well. A lot of people like the German models a lot better than they like the new milled slide models. They feel that the quality is a lot better. I feel the quality is good in both models. The stamp models seem to have a little more hand-built care taken into them. The triggers are usually a lot nicer than they are on the milled slide models. So with that said, let's do some testing on it and see how she works. Okay, we're going to be test firing a Sig 226 9mm stamped West German model. This is a triple serial number. And let's see what we can do right now. We're at about 20 feet. Move over to a second target here. Go to our third target. Last mag out here. There's double action shot. Okay. Double action shots on these are always a little bit heavier pull. The single action on this is very, very nice. Nice and crisp. The West German models, the stamped steel slide models, these guns are usually known for a better trigger than the newer milled slides. This one here proves it hands down 100%. Right out of the box, this gun was a very low round count gun. It is a 1991 model. Awesome trigger. We did this gun, we refinished it, went through, replaced the springs, and put contrast sights on it, had some dead night sights. But other than that, I mean, this thing just, the trigger on it's phenomenal in single action. It's got a nice crisp break. There's really not much creep into it at all. For an out-of-the-box trigger, I mean, hands down, this is way better than the factory triggers that I've seen lately coming out of the factory recently. So, you want to look for a nice gun, a good price and everything. The West German 226s, the 228s, the P6s, 220s, all the older West German models, very, very nice guns. Those can usually be had anywhere from $450 on up to $750, $850 for guns that are probably still new in a box or very lightly fired with box and papers and test targets, etc. But when you're looking at the 226s, one of the things you want to look at, any of the old classic stamped slide models. This one's got a little bit of wobble in the slide, not much. It shoots very, very accurate. Some of these, I've had a couple in here that were really loose in the slide. One of them was bad enough that you could actually shake it, you know, pointing down at the ground. You could shake the gun really hard and it would actually drop the hammer. So there was just so much play in the gun that everything was loose. That's very, very rare. I see these things all the time. That's the only time I've ever seen that happen. We replaced the sear hammer and a couple other pieces in it and tightened the slide up a little bit. and it took care of that instantly. So just look for the slides that rattle a little bit. Other than that, there's not much that can go wrong with these that you can't buy a replacement part. Most of these guns aren't going to have high round counts in them. Most of the police turn-ins and stuff like that, most officers don't shoot their guns that much at all anyways. Most of it's going to be holster wear. But all the guns we get in here like this that we refinish to sell, we go through, we put all new springs in them, we test fire them, make sure everything works. Some of them we might do a little bit of action work on. But this gun right here, about the only thing I would say is maybe stick a little bit lighter spring in it, and that would drop the trigger pull down a little bit. But right now, the single action trigger on this is very, very nice. The double action pull is a little heavy. I don't mind a carry gun that's got a little bit of a heavy double action trigger pull for your first shot. You want to make sure that if you're pulling the trigger, you're definitely pulling the trigger, and you don't want to have something that's too light, that adrenaline rush in a bad situation, you're going to pull the trigger when you didn't mean to. So this 226 here, I would say, is just an excellent example of what to look for. Everything on it functions really well. Everything's sharp, crisp. All the machining on it's very nice. All the internal components had very little wear. There was almost no frame rail wear on this gun. So this was a very nice gun. It had a couple little dings on the frame itself, so when we refinished it, this gun now looks like a brand new, never fired out of the box gun, other than the 40 rounds we just put down range on it. So we're gonna take a break here. We're gonna take a look at those targets, and now looking at the targets here, the target on the left was the first target we started shooting at. It took a little more time shooting with that. I mean, you can see you can hold a pretty good group at it. Granted, we're only at 20 feet. At 20 feet, something like that, though, that's, you got all kill shots. That'd be an awesome target for a 20-foot quick reaction. The target's in the middle and then to the right, a little bit high. I was aiming a little bit differently, and I noticed that it seemed like it was shooting up a little bit higher. We dropped it back down again for the target on the right. Then I went back up, and that little dot in the middle target to the left, upper left-hand corner there, I was trying to pop that one. Ammo was just Federal bulk. It's not very great ammo, but it seems to function pretty good. But as you can see, I mean, everything held pretty nice groups. Even though the target in the middle wasn't spot on the middle, I mean, still a nice group for what it was. We're going to step back. We're going to go out to 50 feet, and we're going to try some single hand shooting next. Okay, we're back at about 50 feet. We're going to try some single hand shooting and see how accurate we can be with the gun. Okay, we're going to stop and take a look and see how good we did there. That again is single hand, 50 feet. Okay, here we are, single hand, 50 feet, our first target. The very first shot was up high at the 12 o'clock position. I tried to compensate a little bit, had a couple shoot down a little bit lower around the 8 o'clock position. Other than that, it looks like the sight maybe needs to come over a little bit to the right. But, I mean, look at that grouping at 50 feet, single hand. We got a lot of nice hole there. Most of the shots going in there once I got my groove down and everything. These aren't target match grade guns. These are service guns. But at 50 feet, single hand, I mean, that's going to do the job every day, all day. Concluding our test on the West German Sig 226 and 9mm, the stamp slide version, I give this a real high rating. It's a very nice gun. It shoots very well. The triggers are very nice. There's just oozing quality out of this gun here. You can't really go wrong with one of these. Not saying that you're going to go wrong with a new model gun either. The West German ones just seemed like they had a little better quality control over their hand-built guns. But all in all, you can't go wrong with it. Again, they're not target guns, but I mean, they do a very, very good job. As service pistols, I mean, they're above and beyond what I see out there as a majority of pistols in this range. Again, the quality, you can't beat the price on it in the used market against most of the guns in this range. It's hands down the top of the class.